for an absolutely free consultation. That's 800-811-7670 or timesharecompliance.com.
It's a comedic tale of two charming and eccentric ladies who dispense cheer to all, along with elderberry wine spiked with arsenic. But the ladies are not the only murderous members of the Brewster clan. Watch as murder and mystery unfolds in one of the zaniest comedies of the American stage, Arsenic and Old Lace, now playing at Derby Dinner Playhouse. Add a love story, several dead bodies in a window seat, and some very confused cops, and you're sure to enjoy this classic comedy. Call 812-288-8281 for tickets to Arsenic and Old Lace or visit derbydinner.com.
Hi, I'm Roger Berkman of U of L's 1980 National Championship team. Shortly after I graduated, a group of U of L students and alumni created their very own credit union, the University of Louisville Student and Alumni Credit Union. Today, that credit union is Class Act. Not just anybody can become a member, but you can if you or a family member has ever attended U of L. You see, I'm not only a member of U of L's first national championship team, I'm also a member of Class Act. Class Act. It's like straight A's for your money. Member NCUA.
You're listening to Just Ask Joyce on WFIA, The Spirit.
Thank you so much for joining us today. It's our pleasure to bring to you Dennis Miller. He is the author of Mopping Floors to CEO. It's an autobiography. It's from hopelessness and failure to happiness and success. And Dennis has already, I'm sure, helped many of you who maybe suffer with a little bit of depression from your past, just by telling you some tips about how you can walk out of that and should walk out of it, because there's a lifetime ahead of people, isn't there, Dennis?
Joyce, absolutely. I mean, you want to follow up on something that you asked before, make sure your listeners hear this. Absolutely, you want to take small steps. The most important thing is to, kind of assess kind of where you're at, okay? Assess where you're at and whether you're depressed or anxious or just maybe not, but maybe just your life for some reason, maybe your relationship, whatever it might be, is not what you want it to be. Well, you can stay there, or you can make the decision that I want to change that. And to do that, I'm suggesting that there's not just one path, but many paths. But, confide in a friend, confide in a colleague. Just make sure you're not doing alone. You want to build a support system, mentors, friends. There's people willing to help you. And just be determined to make that change happen, regardless of how difficult. And here's, Joyce, the one thing that I certainly have learned in my life. Regardless of your past circumstances or current life circumstances, you can change your life if you want to, but you can take responsibility for that. And if you need the help of other people, whether it's just a friend or professionals, make sure you reach out and get some help from people, because people do want to give you advice and they do want to help you.
Yeah, and, and I love the fact that you said there's no shame in that. There really isn't. We can't, as children, and Dennis, I grew up in a very abusive home, so I can flash on many of the things that you talked about, but there's no shame attached to that because we're kids. We're kind of there by default, so especially in those situations, but even at our own doing, we're going to make mistakes in life. It doesn't have to define us unless we want it to, right?
Joyce, I agree with you. As a matter of fact, I always kid with people. I said, listen, if you want a printout of all my faults or weaknesses, my wife will give you a computer printout, I'm sure. But here's what the thing is. Here I was, from cleaning bathrooms to being the president CEO of a major medical center in New Jersey here. And even though I was the president of a large major medical center, I still was going through a therapeutic process of self-empowerment, of self-healing, to an analysis. And yet I still had felt stigma about wanting people to know that I still had those kind of needs here. Mm-hmm. And eventually, a therapist said to me, Dennis, it's nothing wrong with needing me. You never had anybody need. So, what I've learned with this book is, Joyce, people like yourself and others, everybody has come out and told me about their life, their brothers, their family's life, and so you want to be revealing. I took a risk with this book, but I thought my story was important enough to be able to inspire people and provide people hope. And at the end of the day, hope and faith is what gets us through life. And so you must have hope, you must have faith, and then that leads to a self-confidence. And those self-confidence happens one step at a time, small steps by small steps. And self-confidence leads to being success, leads to achievement, leads to more self-confidence.
Amen. Well said. And, there's a period in your life in 2001, I believe, where you had some health challenges. You've already had some. You started out at, at 20 with some mental health challenges. But this was a different kind. It was a physical health challenge, really, that, kind of could have scared someone, but you were pretty solid in this. Share that with us.
About the asthma?
Yes, the asthma.
Yeah, I was, I didn't know I was asthmatic. I knew that I got bronchitis quite often, Joyce, and I knew that when other people got colds, I got bronchitis. And one day it was snowing out, and my wife at the time was a school nurse, and my younger son was home. And thank God they were home, because I went to cough, and I went to a spasm, and I had an asthma attack, and I couldn't breathe, and I was panicking, thinking this is how I was going to die. And then they called 911, and the police came, and I got oxygen, and that happened a few other times. So, then I had to go for, care for that, and I'm doing phenomenally well with that. But that was something that's, scared the heck out of me, and didn't know about it. And I was diagnosed with asthma, and for many, many years I had to be on sort of prevention medication, prevent that from happening. And I don't have to be on the medication today, but it was a big deal for me, and it happened a couple times. Well,
and it could have set you back, but it didn't really. You just kept trudging on through. Have you got time to stick around with us for another segment?
Absolutely, Joyce. I'm here for you. Don't worry about it. Take your time.
All right. Well, because we've heard there's a silver lining to your story, but there's a really bigger silver lining that I want to bring out to everyone about this story. We'll be back with more of Dennis C. Miller. Don't go away.
WFIA, The Spirit.
Hi, I'm Joyce Oglesby of Just Ask Joyce, weekdays at 3 right here on WFIA, and I want you to join me for a very special live edition of our show, Tuesday, May 24th at Highview Baptist Valley Station campus.
Dignity Memorial and WFIA present Lunch and Learn with Joyce Oglesby, May 24th from 2 to 5 p.m. Join us for a free lunch and seats to the Just Ask Joyce show. There'll be a live Q&A about pre-planning, family care, and more.
Lunch and Learn. It's all free. All you need to do is get registered by calling 502-423-3122. That's 423-3122.
Dignity Memorial features R.H.L. Hetty Okolona, W.G. Hardy, Fairdale McDaniel, R.H.L. Hetty Taylor Boulevard, and Hetty Hardy, where your loved one's life will be celebrated.
Are you prepared? Getting your affairs in order is one of the most important things you can do to help your family when you pass. I'm looking forward to seeing you May 24th. Call and register now at 502-423-3122.
It's like the rebirth the world feels during spring, the new life when there was none, and the hope of real growth and wonder, like the kind of wonder of joining Alistair Begg on a magnificent Mediterranean journey.
Have you ever wondered what it would have been like to travel the dynamic missionary journeys of the Apostle Paul, to see for yourself the sights of the early Christian church? This is Alistair Begg, inviting you to join me this fall on the footsteps of the Apostles' Mediterranean cruise. Together, we'll encounter the sights of the early church like never before, with wonderful stops in Rome, Naples, Jerusalem, Athens, and more.
It's an unforgettable 15 days on 2 continents, sailing on one of the newest cruise ships, the beautiful Silhouette.
And we'll experience the magnificent Sistine Chapel, the historic Western Wall in Jerusalem, the beautiful Greek island of Santorini, and much more in luxurious accommodations over the pristine waters of the Mediterranean.
Get more information at WFIAFM.com. and click on the Footsteps of the Apostles banner.
Thinking about life insurance? What if you could make one free phone call and learn your best price from nearly a dozen highly rated, price-competitive companies? Well, that's exactly what happens when you call SelectQuote Life. For example, George is 40. He was getting sky-high quotes from other companies because he takes meds to control his blood pressure. But when I shopped around, I found him a 10-year, $500,000 policy for under $28 a month. I'm SelectQuote agent Dan Savino, and believe me, if SelectQuote isn't shopping for your life insurance, you're probably paying too much.
For your free quote, call 1-800-509-1667. That's 1-800-509-1667. 1-800-509-1667. Or go to SelectQuote.com. Since 1985, we shop, you save. Get full details on the example policy at selectquote.com/commercials. Your price can vary depending on your health, issuing company, and other factors not available in all states.
You're listening to Just Ask Joyce on WFIA, The Spirit.
Dennis C. Miller, Mopping Floors to CEO. And Dennis, I want to dive in just for a second here because I remember this interview that you had with Katie Couric back in 2003 when and I know that it's probably still very bold in your mind as well. You know, Charles Cullen, who, you know, I assume he's still behind bars today, right?
Yes, he is. He's state prison for life, yes.
Right, prison for life is what I understood. But, you know, he, of course, was on your watch there at your medical facility, Somerset Medical Center, you know, where I think he had gotten away with killing some 40 people, you know, under the guise of a nurse. But anyway, you were pretty adamant that day with Katie. I remember that you were going to pursue the patient's rights over individuals' rights.
Well, let me address that. What happened actually was, we had a nurse named Charles Cullen